The biggest issues, I think, is around consolidation. There's going to be quite a vast amount of consolidation in this marketplace. Those who are providing cloud services today off their own platforms, in their own data centers. There's a lot of consolidation happening. It's happening at the hyperscale level, and it will continue to happen within the mid-sized SP level as well. The biggest challenge, I think, apart from what happens in terms of price and consolidation, is also how to make a difference. What our customers actually want is it's not bare metal and compute, it's really adding value to their business. Cloud computing offers a huge array of opportunity for a customer to not only just save costs, but really speed up their business. Their time to market, innovation, even addressing different geographic opportunities with customers. And cloud offers that scalability and option. And it's up to the provider in this space. Perhaps they're very heavily twined with that customer, or they play a very heavy place in that particular marketplace, retail, finance, whatever you want to call it. It's up to those providers to make a difference there and differentiate from other providers, such as the hyperscalers, or ones that are traditional competitors, or even the ones that I can't even see yet, who will make a difference in that market and allow that customer to make that change into cloud. I've dealt with the cloud solutions from Cisco for quite a few years, and I think what I've seen is customers taking a bit of a journey. They begin with understanding what cloud means to them and understanding how that would interfere with their security recommendations from their business, how they would deploy it, and sometimes they start from the perspective of just pure cost. They've got a cliffhanger moment, they have to upgrade, their aged DC infrastructure has to be changed, and what they're looking for is an alternative. And in the beginning, actually, what customers would tended to be doing was looking at that and thinking, is it a viable alternative just to ditch their own and opt for somebody else? And more recently today, what we've seen is an acceptance of cloud, but more importantly, a drive from software business solutions being delivered as SaaS services. So originally it really was just taking a DR as a service as a good example of a beginning of a company taking cloud. Really now what their customers are after is how can they really transform their business operating software and back-end databases, etc., to use cloud services, and they're looking for opportunities that are either delivered by providers such as yourselves with an innovative platform, or from industry ISVs that are changing the way they deliver their software. As I was mentioning before, customers definitely have, and originally skepticism, needing business cases, understanding what the value was definitely the foray. And I've spoken to many CTOs and CEOs for that matter, and actually CFOs, to be honest with you, around cloud over the years. Many of them actually looked at it and thought, what's the business opportunity? What's the return on investment? Is it going to be cheaper? And yes, I think more and more now we've seen customers see that as a de facto, yes, we are going to go cloud. Originally, I spoke to a few customers and they said to me, we've got a go-to-cloud strategy, a full cloud strategy within 5 years. However, when you dig a bit deeper than that, there was very little actual detail behind what that really meant. What was first? What was going to happen? What were the considerations? That, I believe, and if you look at some of the analysts like 451 Research, for example, people already have, in the majority, a cloud strategy that actually has been well-baked. And they are starting to choose workloads that they want to put in the cloud immediately. And they're looking for opportunities to do so in an efficient, in a cost-effective way, in a secure way, with providers that are out there in the marketplace. Some industries got a long way to go, don't get me wrong, they're not all where they should be. But it takes sometimes regulations to change, it sometimes takes guidance from UK government, for example. And the UK is quite fortunate in European terms, is that we're quite ahead of these regulations. But sometimes industries need a push to get over that barrier and get into cloud, and sometimes they don't. But what we're seeing is a lot more acceptance of cloud-delivered IT as being the de facto option, and then if they can't do that, then I'll opt for private cloud instead of that. Let's just answer the digital transformation piece first. So what is digital transformation? And from how Cisco sees it, and you can answer probably in about 5 to 10 different ways. How Cisco sees it is really trying to get business processes and customer information completely integrated and presented to the client, whether it be a user, whether it be another business, whether it be another application, in an integrated, automated way. And I think, to be honest with you, with the advent of things like IoT coming out as an absolutely massive shift in the marketplace around utilising cloud data centres and the storage behind that and the compute layer behind that, and the developers that are out there, even in London right now, we're very close to the Silicon City here, is that there's going to be a massive shift over to digital ways of working. So that's going to be an explosion of integration of different databases and information streams and ways of working, business applications, but also new ways of information coming into how to operate a business, operate a service, and deliver value to the client. So yeah, I think that we should predict there's going to be a big shift. It might happen on a data storage layer quicker than the actual compute layer, but actually what will be most important is to have the foundations of a cloud-based platform to be as flexible as possible and allow investments to come in, tried, and if not doesn't work, to be retired pretty quickly without too much overhead or too many cycles. Yeah, definitely, yeah. As I said before, it's case by case. I mean, IoT, if you are listening to a lot of the news at the moment, it's all around smart cities, some manufacturing plants, for example, and clearly the explosion of IoT sensors and devices, for example, is going to mean there's going to be a ridiculous amount more data. And customers may want to keep everything, but they may not. They may want a business case to keep everything. And I always love this anecdote, is that people like Nike having the Fit bands, for example, all of a sudden grew a data center because they had loads of information they had to store. And how they monetize that data is to actually use it as for advertising purposes, or sell it onto other customers when it's anonymized, for example. And it's interesting, when a customer realizes they can collect data, and you enable that to happen, it's very, very pertinent to start understanding how they can use that data with another software provider, another client, and another business model, for example, and help them leverage that. Otherwise, they're really just burning money and keeping data for the sake of it. I think, not to be dismissive and try to be aloof with this, I think it's a multitude of different things. The next cloud technology would be, obviously it's IoT. I think the biggest thing is going to be IoT. And why I say it's a multitude of different things, because when you talk about IoT, it's all around the business application of IoT. And it could be down to utilizing information from a user, from a device, from a process, for example, and then getting it into the business and processing it and making decisions, automated decisions to make it work. For example, I mean, we're going to talk about collaboration in a little while. That's a big transformation, how you use it. And in some industries, they're using collaboration as a massive transformation to how they operate as a business and automate their processes as much as possible. And I think, the biggest thing that will happen in cloud is integrating more data, understanding what it can do for them, using software like tetration, for example, to predictive management of systems. App Dynamics is an acquisition we made to understand how applications behave in a cloud environment, make sure they're secure, they maintain SLAs. But the explosion of IoT and business processes and digitization will definitely change the way that cloud operates and what it delivers for a customer in the future.